This church season stretches between two high points. Epiphany, when the good news of Jesus is revealed to the world following his birth, and the Transfiguration, when Jesus's true nature is revealed on a mountain to some of his disciples. In between, in this season, we celebrate Jesus's identity and calling, and the calling of the disciples, and our own calling to follow Jesus and to share in his ministry. But not everybody is celebrating. In our scriptures today, Jesus, full of the Spirit, returns to his hometown. He shows up at the synagogue, as is his custom, and reads a passage from the prophet Isaiah. At first, the folks there are really impressed. Here's Joseph's son, who has done so much in other places and been praised by everyone. Here is Mary's child, come to bless them there in his hometown with his wisdom and power. Jesus even proclaims in front of them that he will himself fulfill the scriptures, bringing good news to the poor and healing and liberation to all those who need it. What an amazing guy. But then Jesus breaks it to them. He doesn't plan to carry out any miracles in Nazareth like he did in Capernaum. He compares himself to the prophets Elijah and Elisha and says he is not called primarily to heal and help his own people, the people closest to him, but strangers. When the people hear this, they are filled with rage. They get up and drive Jesus out of town. They even lead him out to the edge of a cliff, intending to hurl him off of it. But somehow Jesus manages to pass through them and travel on. How do we react when people we have high hopes for don't fulfill our expectations? And what happens when we can't or won't fulfill the expectations of others? We can see this dynamic happen in society as we react to leaders, what they're able to accomplish for us and what they don't. And as others react to us and how we carry out our public lives. It happens also in families, as we or our loved ones step out of the roles that have been assigned to us, or the rules that were designed for us, for good or for ill, or for both. Last week, I watched the movie Encanto with my kids. If anyone's seen it, you can leave your little review in the chat. It's no longer in the theaters, but if you have Disney Plus or you know someone who does, I highly recommend it. It's there's fun, there's music, there's really good theology, and at least for me, there was a therapeutic cry in the mix there. The story centers around the family Madrigal, pictured here, a family known for its extraordinary magical gifts. There's so much to celebrate about this family. Their survival from past traumas, the amazing things that they're able to do, their commitment to one another, and the ways that they share their gifts with their wider community. And still, all is not well for this family. The things that have defined them in positive ways have also over time become burdens. The sister who is gifted with extraordinary strength, you can see her on the far left, is also consumed with anxiety about whether she'll be able to keep carrying the heavier and heavier loads everyone asks her to. The sister who is gifted with extraordinary beauty and grace, she's the second on the left, also with a gift for flowers. She's trapped by the expectation that she will always seem perfect. And Mirabelle, who is our hero, she's right in the center with her arms crossed. She is devastated because she has no magical gift at all, when being magical is what it means to be part of her family. I won't give you any real spoilers in case you want to see it and you haven't yet, but the story evolves as folks begin to tell the truth about themselves. Their family system is fractured by these revelations, but the fractures also make way for new growth and healing. Together, they find a way forward that affirms the intrinsic value of each person apart from their gifts and recognizes the complexities in each of them. I wonder, what has been expected of you, or what have you expected of yourself as a part of your families, your communities, your identities, your professions? What has been expected of you? What have you expected of yourself? And in what ways have those expectations sometimes been a burden? I encourage you to take a few moments and reflect on this, maybe write it down now or later. What are these expectations that you have lived with? I appreciate this story about Jesus in part because it reminds us what a human life Jesus led. Yes, he was an extraordinary person, divine as well as human, and he had extraordinary gifts. Still, even these extraordinary gifts didn't please everyone. It didn't even please those who we might assume would be the first in his corner, his hometown crowd. Using his gifts in the ways that he felt called meant losing his home and having to find his community elsewhere among folks who better understood his mission and wanted to be a part of it. And this, of course, is only the beginning of the price that Jesus would pay. For some of us, being honest about who we are or what we feel able and called to do can be very challenging. It may even mean facing serious losses in our society or in our families. For all of us, there is a tension between who we understand ourselves to be and how we feel called to live, and other people's expectations of us. Part of Jesus's invitation to discipleship is an invitation to be free, to let go of the pressure of all these external expectations or even internal expectations, to experience the healing that can come when we understand that we are valuable, not because of what we can do, but because of who we are, God's children, created and blessed with holy love. I invite you to pray with me. Oh God, we are each on a journey, learning to know and to use our gifts, to know and to follow our callings, to become more and more the ones you have birthed and blessed us to be. Help us to be true to ourselves and therefore true to you, with courage and with kindness, welcoming the freedom that you offer from the expectations of others, the assurance of our value beyond our gifts and those expectations. Help us also to free ourselves of the expectations we have of others, so that we might love both ourselves and our neighbors all your beloved as you created us to be. Amen.